How about this new video game they're coming out with? I don't know about you guys, but I am genuinely excited about. I don't know if I'm not the only gamer on the screen right now. Mike and I both have a pretty solid interest in video gaming. JT, not as much, right? Admittedly,
when I was a kid, yeah.
Well, yeah, when you're a kid. But I got to
They
tell
only
you,
had Pong on Atari when JT was a kid.
True story.
There's an
I
age
had it.
gap there.
I had it, Mike. Yeah. So it's not really a low blow that you're going
it's
for.
true
but
story.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys think? I mean, knowing what we know about the game right now, put together by Game Mill Entertainment, a company that has been attached to actually some pretty big franchises like Frozen, Monster Jam, that classic big game hunter. Game Big Buck Hunter.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
That's a winner, in my opinion.
I like that.
But
one.
they had, admittedly, I think a couple of rough go rounds with the Street Outlaws franchise. They put out 2 video games for Street Outlaws that I don't think were met with rave reviews. I'm going to ask you guys right now, like, do we see this as a boom or bust moment for the sport of drag racing? Is this something that's going to do something positive, introduce the sport to a new group of people, maybe re-interest some young folks or whatever? Or do you think this is something that's going to happen and we're going to move on and not be any better for it?
If it's done right, I think it'll definitely be.
It depends on the quality of the game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I mean. It boils down to that exactly. I mean, if
I heard
if
though
it sucks,
that
it's not going to be good.
Brian Loans is going to be the voice on this deal, and here we have a little sneak peek of it. It looks
pretty glitchy.
Yeah,
so, no,
yeah, the frame rate looks pretty bad on that right there. So
I look at this shot right here, and it would appear to me that they've put, from what I understand, and the people I've talked to, they have spent a lot of time trying to perfect the sound, try to perfect the cars, try to perfect the vibe and the feel of the racetrack. One of the things that I really like about this is the way they have this fly-in view of the facilities. Personally, if I'm any of these track owners, I'm real excited about this because this is something that doesn't get done enough in drag racing. We don't have enough we have plenty of storied, iconic drag strips in the minds of you and I, the hardcores, right? But not that many racetracks that are noticeable by the untrained eye or really stand out or have broken through to pop culture. And I think this is one of the ways you get that job done. I got to tell you, my little boy Maxwell plays the Formula One video game like it's his job during the summer. It pretty much is. But I know more about the tracks and the venues and the layouts of these places by way of that video game than I've ever been able to gather on TV or the internet, to be honest.
And then a person's excited when they go to that track. They're like, oh my God, I've played this a million times,
yeah,
right?
It reaches out.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, to that audience and to a younger audience. We saw, I don't know if we have it, but NHRA posted this handwritten letter from a kid named Giovanni who wrote an awesome letter to NHRA asking for a video game. And that right there shows you that we always talk about trying to draw in youth and trying to attract new fans. You have to have something like this. Video games are just sort of the tip of the spear of toys, merchandise, all these things to attract younger fans. And I think there are a lot of smart people that are deeply ingrained and care about the sport. They're involved in this project. I would be extremely shocked and disappointed if it's not the best drag racing game we've had since the IHRA game, IHRA Drag Racing 2 or NHRA Drag Racing 2 that came out like on PlayStation 1 or 2. We've got the No Limit game on mobile, which is
spectacular,
arguably
really
the
good.
best drag racing game ever created to this point. We'll see if how this translates. I think that it's kind of interesting that it's not going to be on mobile, that it's a console game. And I think that NHRA, whether this can be ported over to mobile or how that works, or if they've got to develop a completely different game,
I think they may be able to put together like a scaled back version of it.
They need a mobile version.
Yeah. Because I mean, like NBA 2K, a lot of these video game franchises have mobile adaptations of their video games. And I got to say that
Tiger Woods golf did.
So many of them have. And oftentimes, and I'm not trying to immediately assume that this isn't going to be a long and fruitful relationship, but I'm reminded of the UFC video game. When it first came out, it was a little rough around the edges. It was done by a lesser known game developer, THQ, which had a bunch of great titles to their credit. Don't get me wrong. But over the course of time, the next thing you know, the game continued to improve with each iteration. And then it got picked up and became part of the EA Sports lineup. And it was a whole new world for the fans of that game and the fans that are drawn to that type of video game. So this is a process. I don't want to set my sights too high, but based on the video stuff that I've seen, we got some insider info from Jeffrey Young at NHRA a few weeks ago when we were in Charlotte. Mike, he showed us a couple of clips and of the cars actually going down the track, and the fact that they're going to have Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, I believe
And
Pro Stock
Mod.
Bike, and Pro Mod and Super Stock. I think that's a smart play to include a sportsman category.
Yeah,
that's
I do too.
It would have been probably a misstep to exclude, everybody that doesn't race professional categories. But I'm genuinely excited to see how it plays out. Will there be a multiplayer functionality? I'm sure there's a career mode and all those type of things, but there's a lot of questions yet to be answered. From what I understand, we're going to get some big news regarding the launch of the date, some further details, game modes, different aspects of the game sometime this week. I don't know if it's coming at the end of the week. Okay, Friday.
They said Friday during the Bristol National event. They're going to have some kind of announcement about the game.
I'm excited.
You got to have a booth set up there where you can go in and play it.
Oh, dude. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man, I've been saying this for a long time that I felt drag racing needed three things. It needed a badass video game, badass toys, and a reality show, right? And this is a huge step in the right direction. This game, it's such an incredible way to capture young folks. The conversations that I've had with my own son about drag racing because of No Limit Drag Racing 2.0, because of that iPhone game, I never would have had them. I mean, just being honest. I mean, we likely wouldn't be talking about 60 foots and talking about suspension settings and talking about 4-link versus ladder bars versus, leaf springs. We wouldn't be having those conversations if it weren't for these video games. And it starts these young folks' minds going, and they start thinking about the problem solving that is available to them. Because that's what this is. It's drag racing. All of this is just extremely fast, expensive problem solving. And when young people start to recognize that there's that part of it, that they don't necessarily have to be a welder, they don't have to be a hardcore mechanic to have an interest in this stuff and learn about it and get good about it. So
I think
it's
bold.
going to pay dividends.
I think it's bold to include Pro Mod too, because is Lonnie Grimm in the game? Like, does he come out and make a rule change?
That'd
if
be
you
hilarious.
dominate if Pro Charger's dominating in career mode, here comes Lonnie Grimm with the rule change.
You're going to slow your button down.
Yep. Yeah. And can you go in and do the Ricky Smith double bulb if you play as Ricky? Is that like a special move that you get to do?
Oh, you got to double.
It ought to be
everybody.
Yeah, it ought to be like a up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
Up, down,
like
left,
a finishing
right,
move.
Left, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mortal
shit.
Kombat
Yeah.
finishing move.
The
biggest thing.
Pressure on me.
I'm praying. This is something, and I've said this to No Limit, the developers at No Limit, who are good friends of ours here, Zach Smith and the gang. It's we need data recording. That's what these video games, because it's so hard with like these drag racing games. If you don't have data to look at, like wheel speed numbers, you don't have anything to reference. It's hard to make like intelligent tuning decisions. So I'm hoping. Don't you remember the second version of NHRA Championship Drag Racing on PlayStation 2 had a race pack built into it, and you could literally pull up the race pack graph and go look at it like, oh, it's pulling the motor down here, slowing the tire down, and knocking it off. And
just like real drag racing has spent all the time analyzing that graph, making changes to the car, and spent 1 second running it.
It's so true. I spent way more time looking at the data than I ever did smashing the X button. Yeah. Right? No, very fun conversation, and I'm genuinely excited about this deal. I hope it all goes extremely well. I think that some of the stuff that I've heard leaked about expansion packs, downloadable things, that's smart. There's a whole world, there's a whole economy that's been built on the back of that mindset. Rocket League, Fortnite. I mean, I don't know about you, Mike, but my kids are apt to break me with every time. I mean, I literally got a text while we were on here is, Dad, can I have $25? Rocket League just came out with what looks like an awesome expansion pack.
Yeah, Christian doesn't know it yet, but I'm not going to be able to afford to send him to college because I spent it all on Fortnite. So whenever the time comes and he's going to be like, Dad, what's the deal? I'm like, get those student loans, son, because it all went to
I spent it Fortnite. All on Fortnite.
I make my kids pay me. Like they have to, if they want something, they have to work for it, earn the money, and come pay me.
I'm anxious to see how that works out for you. Real